So welcome to today's session in physics. Today we are going to discuss Gauss's law, applications of Gauss's law. Okay, so mainly there are three applications. First one is infinitely long, straight, uniformly charged wire. So we have already discussed Gauss's law can be used to find the field due to some continuous charge distributions. So we are familiar with the word continuous charge distribution. So such an infinitely long wire we are considering. So what is the field due to that wire? So for linear charge distribution, you know that term linear charge distribution, that linear charge density lambda we know. So in terms of that lambda, what is that electric field? That's what we are going to discuss. So first of all, let's see what will be the direction of the electric field, what will be the nature of the electric field. Such things we will discuss now. So we consider a uniformly charged wire first. So it's a uniformly charged, we are considering positively charged wire. So its linear charge density, we can consider it to be plus lambda. So plus lambda is the linear charge density of that wire. Now, in order to find the flux at a point, so actually not flux, the field at a point, we are using what? This expression for flux, that is phi E equal to Q by epsilon 0, where we write phi E as summation E dot delta A. This is what we will be doing. So using Gauss's law, we are finding this flux. So before that, let's see what is the direction and what is the nature of the electric field. So the thing is this, if we consider a point P like this, that is it is at a distance R from the wire. So this is point P. So the thing is this, if we consider point P and if we draw if keeping that distance straight, if we change, if we imagine a chord there, if we move that outer point, it will be a circle, you know. So keeping this as the center at all points which is at a distance r from the wire, at all such points the electric field will be same. That means the field due to that follows from the symmetry of these points, because all those points are alike with respect to this uniformly charged wire. So at all those points, the expression, that is the magnitude of electric field, will be same. So the thing is this, if we consider the point P here at the same distance from the wire, at those points also the field will be same. Or in short, the field due to this infinitely long straight wire has got cylindrical symmetry. So it has got cylindrical symmetry. We said no, point charge, the field due to point charge has got spherical symmetry, and the field due to this linear charge distribution, it has got cylindrical symmetry. What do you mean by cylindrical symmetry? Cylindrical symmetry means if you consider a cylinder of radius r, on the surface of that cylinder at all points the field will have same magnitude. That's what we mean by cylindrical symmetry. So that is a point to be noted. The field surrounding this linear charge distribution or infinitely long straight uniformly charged wire, the field will be cylindrically symmetric. Okay, and what about its direction? So actually how the procedure is, we will divide this wire into small portions. So consider a small portion here of length delta L. So what about the field produced by delta L at this point? What is the direction? So considering this delta L, what will be its charge? Delta L is the length and plus lambda is the linear charge density. So what will be the charge of this much length? Delta L into lambda. So that charge will be producing. So considering this delta L lambda as a point charge, okay, we are considering the small delta L element as a point charge. So considering it as a point charge, the electric field will be acting like this. So this is the field due to the small element of wire. And at another point, that means about this point we can consider at same distance, you can consider another small element delta L. Its charge also is delta L into lambda. So that elemental charge also will be producing an electric field there. And that electric field will be in which direction? In this direction. So considering 2 points, we got their electric fields to be same. We have considered symmetric points at same distance from this line. Okay, so these two fields will have same magnitude. And you can resolve. So to find the vector sum, because electric field is a vector quantity, so to find the total electric field, you need to find the vector sum. So in finding vector sum, you have to resolve this into two components. That is this electric field and this electric field. Suppose we call them as E1 and E2. Okay. So when we resolve them, so E2 will have components like this. So one component will be in the same direction and the other two components will be in the opposite direction. That means vertical direction. And I told both E1 and E2 will have same magnitude since we considered symmetric points. Okay, so what about these two components? Vertical components will get cancelled and the net electric field will be in this direction, that is horizontal direction. Okay, so this is what happens when we find the sum of electric fields due to each small elements. Okay, the vertical components of all the vertical components, the vertical components of field produced by all small elements of the wire will get cancelled, and finally what remains is in this direction, horizontal direction. So electric field, so direction of the electric field due to this uniformly charged wire will be in this direction. How we say? It is along radial direction. With respect to this wire, we say it is radially outward. Since we have positively charged wire, we have the direction to be radially outward. If it was a negatively charged wire, it will be radially inward. So how will we write? If lambda is greater than 0, the electric field will be radially outward, and if lambda is less than 0, the electric field will be radially inward. That is the word we have to use. Actually, only horizontal component is remaining. So, with respect to the wire, that direction how we specify is this. So, if lambda is greater than 0, lambda greater than 0 means positive charge and lambda less than 0 means negative charge. So, if lambda is greater than 0, the direction of electric field will be radially outward, and if lambda is less than 0, the direction of electric field will be radially inward. So, this is about the direction. Now, we have to speak about the magnitude. So, we haven't reached or we haven't said anything about magnitude. We only said the magnitude of electric field will be same at all points which are equidistant from the wire. So, if we imagine a cylinder with this wire as its axis, okay, on the surface of all the on the surface of the cylinder at all points, the electric field will have same magnitude. That's what we mean by the word cylindrical symmetry. Now we move on to the magnitude part. That's what we are going to find with the help of Gauss's law. So in finding what electric field, we need to apply Gauss's law. So in using Gauss's law, the first step is to imagine a Gaussian surface. So we need to imagine a Gaussian surface. So this is the linear charged wire. So I am showing the positive charge only here. Okay, plus lambda. It is uniformly charged wire. Then, so what shape Gaussian surface you need to imagine? That is very important. Since we already discussed the field is cylindrically symmetric, here we need to imagine a cylindrical Gaussian surface, because as we discussed earlier, where the field has got symmetry, in that cases only we are using this Gauss's law. So we already discussed the field will be cylindrically symmetric, and we use what Gaussian surface as the cylinder, or cylinder as the Gaussian surface. So keeping the wire at the axis, or considering the wire as the axis, you imagine a cylindrical Gaussian surface. So now what I am drawing is the Gaussian surface. Okay, it is cylindrical in shape and the wire comes in the place of its axis. This is how. Got it? Now at a point P. So the point P, the radius of the cylinder is R. Actually that R is the distance of the point P at which we are supposed to find the electric field. So at a distance R, what we need is at a point P, which is at a distance R from the wire, we need electric field. So by having that P on the surface of Gaussian surface, that means at the periphery of the Gaussian surface, we are imagining a Gaussian surface. That's what we have to do. So that point P should come on that surface. Got it? So that distance to the point P, here it comes as the radius of the Gaussian surface. So we have considered. Now we need to find what, or we need to apply Gauss's law. So by applying Gauss's law, we will get the expression for electric field. That's what. So here, as we stated earlier, at the point P, since it is a positive charge distribution, at the point P, the field will be radially outward. Okay. And at this, so when we apply Gaussian, means Gauss's law, we need to consider the total surface area of the, or total surface of the cylinder. That means we need to find the flux through all the three surfaces. Here we have three surfaces. This is first surface, this is second surface, and this is third surface. And the field due to this linear charge distribution, it is radially outward. This is the direction of electric field. Okay, now we will move on to that application of Gauss's law. So this is what is our Gauss's law, that is phi E equal to summation E dot delta A. Okay, now here the height of the cylinder, that means this much length, that height of the cylinder we assume to be L. Now let's apply Gauss's law. So first we will find this part. What is the total flux? So first we will apply it to surface 1. Along this surface, the electric field is in this direction. The direction of electric field is in this direction, that is radially outward. And here the area vector is in radially out, means for this, okay, for this surface it is outward. That means it comes like this. Area vector comes like this. So what is the angle here? Angle here it is 90 degree. If angle is 90 degree on this surface, that flux will be equal to 0, because so when we find phi 1, it becomes EA, no need of vector symbol there when we apply. So EA cos 90 is 0, so we get phi 1 to be 0. Similarly, when we find the flux at this surface, so here also electric field is in this direction, outward direction, and for this surface its area vector is in this direction. So here also this angle comes out to be 90 degree, and again when we find the flux phi 2, that also comes as EA cos 90, that is 0. So flux through 1 and 2 surfaces, okay, it is 0. Now let's find what is phi 3. So phi 3 is equal to, here this is the electric field direction. So for the curved surface, you imagine the area vector will be outward. So that same direction, that means in that same direction you will have the area vector. So when we write phi 3, it is, here the angle theta will be equal to 0, because both area vector and electric field vector are in the same direction. So EA cos 0, that is equal to EA, phi 3 equal to EA. So what will be the total flux? Total flux is phi 1 plus phi 2 plus phi 3, that is equal to 0 plus 0 plus EA. So the total flux, it is E into A. What is E? The magnitude of electric field, that's what we need. Okay. And what is this A? area. Area of which surface? Is this the area of these two surfaces? No. Those are base areas. Here what we need is curved surface area. For a cylinder, what is the expression for what curved surface area? Curved surface area is 2 pi RL, where R is the base radius and L is the length of the cylinder or height of the cylinder. So the expression for flux, it becomes E into 2 pi RL. So the expression for flux is phi is equal to E into 2 pi RL. Now phi we got E into 2 pi RL, and by Gauss's law, what is phi? Phi is Q by epsilon 0. So we are going to substitute. So by Gauss's law, we have this E into 2 pi RL is equal to, it is equal to what? Q by epsilon 0. So it's this Q we need to find. What is Q? As per statement of Gauss's law, Q is the total charge enclosed by the surface. Here what is the surface? The cylinder is the surface. And what is the charge enclosed by the surface? Along, means for this much length of the cylinder, how much charge is there? That's what we mean by charge enclosed by the surface. So what is the length of the cylinder? Lambda. Linear charge density is, length of the cylinder is L and linear charge density is lambda. So in this case, Q will be equal to lambda into L. So in this equation, Q is equal to lambda into L. So we will substitute. So here I am rubbing. So on substituting, we have E into 2 pi RL is equal to lambda L by epsilon 0. So this L and L will get cancelled, and just rearrange the equation to get E. So our expression for electric field becomes E is equal to lambda divided by 2 pi R epsilon 0, or 2 pi epsilon 0 R. 2 pi epsilon 0 R is the expression for magnitude of electric field due to infinitely long, straight, uniformly charged wire. Okay, so when we write vector equation, in vector equation, it becomes vector E is equal to lambda by 2 pi epsilon 0 R into n cap, where n cap is a unit vector. How will we explain that unit vector? When lambda is greater than 0, n cap is the unit vector which is radially outward. Okay, and when lambda is less than 0, n cap is radially inwards. So that is how we can explain the direction of electric field. Now let's watch a slideshow on this. See, these slides you can use when you write your notes in the notebook. Okay. So this diagram, it shows the direction of electric field in either side. Electric field is always along the perpendicular direction to wire, a point to be noted. Thank you.